This is a video to announce yet another group build. So I thought I would give it a shot, and I've had this idea for months, debating whether I wanted to do it, but I thought I'll just give it a shot. I know everybody's busy with group builds already, but so anyway, this is going to be the Jeep group build. I drive a Jeep, my wife drives a Jeep. And I know there's many modelers out there that also have Jeeps, specifically Wranglers, and that's what I have. It's very simple. It could be any Jeep. I made notes because my memory's not that great. It's going to run from July 1st to December 31st, so roughly 6 months. And then that should be plenty of time because most of those Jeeps don't have too many parts anyway, so but plenty of time to build it. And you know, one thing about a Jeep is like the Jeep is like a hot rod. There's thousands of accessories for them. You can build them 1,000 different ways. They've been making them since 1941, so there's plenty of different models and years and so on to cover. So from July 1st to December 31st, there'll be a hashtag for it. I'll put that in the description below. Well, they can be any scale you want. 1/35th scale, which is a military scale. There's a lot of military Jeeps. That also includes 172. Dragon actually makes one that's 1/6 scale. That's huge. There's a couple of them that are 1/16, and then of course there's the 125 kits. Generally like MPC, AMT, and I think Revell makes a couple, and then some are 124 like Hasegawa, Ming, and some other companies. So you can make a 125, 124 Jeep, plenty of those kits. It doesn't matter what it is. It can be resin, 3D, plastic, just your typical Jeep model. Even though it's coming around in July 1st, just use an unstarted kit. It can be open, but we don't want one that's been started or done or something like that. It has to be a Jeep. It could be a CJ Jeep, a Wrangler, a Cherokee, a Grand Cherokee, a Comanche, a Jeepster. All of those have been made in model form one way or another. It cannot be, because Jeep is such a generic term. Oh my God, everybody, you see that on all kinds of different things that have nothing to do with a Jeep. It's not a Ford F-151 Mutt. Okay, that's not a Jeep. It's not a Ford Brazilian Trawler. That's not a Jeep. It's not a Chinese Jeep. You don't call it a Jeep. It's not a Jeep. Not a GPA Jeep Amphibian. It's got to be a Jeep. So there's, MPC and AMT make different kits. Here's the AMT one. Most of the AMT and MPC kits, a lot of them, some of them have mostly 4 cylinders, which is mostly like the military Jeeps. That's what they had, was a 4-cylinder. And then there's like the Daisy Duke Jeep, which is like a CJ7. There's the Golden Hawk Jeep, which just came out a few months ago. I believe that's MPC. I'm not sure what engine is in that, but I'm pretty sure. I think it's a 4-cylinder. You'd have to check some instructions on that. And those are fine if you want a 4-cylinder. Just so you know, I built a Daisy Duke CJ7. I simply left the 4-cylinder out, and I used a 360 V8 out of an AMC Gremlin because it's all AMC. Back then, it was all AMC products. So, and there's also, I've seen 3D printed AMC 360 engines, or a 304 out of a Javelin or something, same basic engine. So if you wanted to do a swap and drop a V8 in it, it's not that hard. Of course, you could put there's also aftermarket kits to put small block Chevys and small block Fords in a CJ Jeep. So, you can do whatever you want with that. Doesn't matter. As long as it's a Jeep, doesn't matter. You can change the engine. They also make a Jeep Commando and a Mountain Goat Jeep. You see those kits sometimes. That's a Jeep. Revell makes the newer Jeep. Actually, I can show you. Here's an MPC, and this is a Jeep Comanche. And there's many variations of this box over the years. And these are not really expensive. They're kind of like borderline. This kit here, which replicates the Jeep from the movie Tomb Raider. This is an example of that. This is not a stock Jeep, but it has some really great big meaty tires on it that come in this kit, this version. So you can still pick these up on eBay and everything. They're not too bad. Airfix makes a couple snap kits. They make this one, which is a Jeep Wrangler, and then they make the new Jeep Gladiator, which is a snap together as well. I don't know about this one because I have not built it yet, but the Gladiator is like 124, 120th scale. I have a video on that. If you want to see how it looks and how it assembles, you can check that on my channel. And then this is the most current one out. This one is a revision of the Tomb Raider Jeep. It has a more stock size tire in it. It comes with a snorkel. So you can, ford creeks and mild rivers with it or whatever you want to. And stuff like that. Most of these Jeeps, even the CJs, they're all two-door. Although later on, when it came to like the JKs and the JLs, which are out today and stuff like that, they're four doors. But generally the same thing. And now this is a curbside kit, and the Tomb Raider kit is a curbside. So if you want an easier build, you don't want to deal with putting an engine in it or something for the group build, either one of these kits would be fine. And again, this one is a snap kit, and so is the Gladiator. And neither one of those, I think this one has a rudimentary engine. And like I said, I haven't put it together, but the Gladiator does not have an engine. It's a very simple build. Not that everybody wants a simple build. I know some guys are going to go like crazy and put a lift kit on it and monster tires or whatever you want to do, and that's the great thing about them. You can do anything you want with them. Like I say, Hasegawa makes a 124 scale Jeep. Italeri makes a 124 Jeep, a military Jeep. Then they make a fire Jeep. Those are a little harder to find, a little more expensive. Tamiya makes a YJ Jeep with the square headlights. The one year they did that, which was popular in Jurassic Park. Those are a little bit expensive, but they do make them. That has a straight 6 in it. It does have an engine. And Ming makes a MENG. Ming makes a Jeep Wrangler. I think it's a Jeep JK. I think it has, I think you can take the doors off and do other things like that. 135th scale, another popular scale. Most of them are military Jeeps. From 1941 to 1945, most of them are Willys. The rest were made by Ford, but they're essentially the same thing. Ford made them to the same specs that Willys did, more or less. There's a lot of stories about that I'm not going to go into, but as far as it's concerned, it's a real Jeep. It's not a problem. You can, any sign of accessories you want to put on it, that's fine. Like I say, you can lift it, put big tires on it, stick a winch on it, take the doors off, whatever. Personally, myself, I'm going to take this Jeep here. Just so you know, on a Jeep, normally the roof comes off, the doors come off. You actually get a toolkit with a Jeep that has the 2 or 3 tools plus a ratchet, and in like 15 minutes you can have the doors off. So, I'm going to cut these doors off on mine and take them off. But if you search for Jeep parts, you can go to popular Jeep websites that sell Jeep parts, and you'll spend all day on there looking at all the options of 100,000 different ways you can build a Jeep. So if you look at those, you'll get plenty of ideas on how you can modify your Jeep into what you want. So you can paint them any color, you can do anything you want. And that's what the group build's going to be. You just build them your way, you just do it your way, as long as it's a Jeep. Very simple. I also wrote a book on Jeeps. I like Jeeps so much. And this is a book on building Jeep models. I'll put the link in the description, but there are, here you can see the Tomb Raider Jeep. This was actually Revell released a metal kit of that Jeep, and then they released it in plastic like the one I showed you. This one here is the plastic version of the Tomb Raider Jeep. And then this is a military Jeep. This was a custom Jeep, and I believe this was, here you can barely see the V8 that I put in it, but this originally was the Daisy Dukes Jeep. And of course there's other stuff in here too. But if you're not real familiar with Jeeps and you're interested, you can order this and it might give you some ideas. And then you can see, how I weathered it and stuff like that. And there's some interesting things about military Jeeps. Like for instance, like on a military Jeep, the front and rear leaf springs are exactly the same. So are the shock absorbers. All 4 shocks are exactly the same. This is during wartime, so it was, they were trying to economically make a throwaway vehicle, because in war, you might have a Jeep, it might last a week in a war, and it'd get blown up. So they weren't making it to last forever. They were just trying to get it down an assembly line and get it out the door. So they would replicate things like that on it. And the gas tank on a military Jeep is underneath the front seat. I think I forget how many gallons it holds. Let's say it holds 20 gallons. I don't remember the exact number right now. But then, later on, they put the fuel tank, over here on the other side. I'm sorry, the tires on the other side. And then, the camera's reversing this picture when I'm looking at it. So in order to offset the driver on this side with the fuel, the Jeep would lean over one side, so they put the spare tire on the other side on the back to help even it out. So there's little things about that. I really like those. And of course, the windows fold down. Actually, windows on a 2025 Jeep still fold down. You don't see it too often, at least not in the city. But I'm sure if you go out into other areas and stuff like that, every now and then you're going to see somebody that you can fold the Jeep down, the front windshield down over the hood. So pretty unique stuff. A lot of engineering in a Jeep, even a modern Jeep, despite all the electronic crap that's in them. There's a lot of physical engineering in them. So that's that. Remember, I'm going to pop this video up earlier so that everybody gets a chance to think about it. You can fit it into your group build schedule if you want to do it. You can look at your choices on Jeep kits and which way you want to go. Some of the 1/35th scale kits, especially like Tamiya and some of the other ones, they're not that much money. Even though the model is smaller, if you're trying to save money, you could do that or a snap kit. I don't want to make this an expensive endeavor for you. So, you do the Jeep kit that you think fits your budget and that you would enjoy doing. There's no right or wrong on that. So I've built several military Jeeps, and I plan on building more of them. So they're good kits. Most of them are, especially Hasegawa's a great kit. The Italeri kit is very good. I think it has plastic wheels, if I remember right. But I've built that one. I built another one. There's one in this book. Fine Molds makes a Jeep. Some of these Jeeps have trailers with them, which they actually used during the war. And when you buy the Jeep kit, you get a trailer with it. A little more expensive. Yeah, Fine Molds made a Jeep, and I built that one. And the Tamiya, the Wrangler, I built that one also. So I'm pretty familiar with most of them. If you have a question, just email me. Not a big deal. So like I say, you got 6 months. But I'll pop the video up early, give everybody a chance to think about it, check your schedule, check what Jeep kit you want to do if you want to do one, and then you'll be ready to go on July 1st. If you already have a Jeep model in your stash, you know, maybe somebody gave it to you, or you know, or you bought it, or whatever, makes no difference. This will give you a chance to jump in, build a Jeep with everybody else, and if you have any pointers or questions, or actually if somebody, there's, you know, right now there's so many kits, but there's a lot of popular ones, and I'm sure the Revell ones will be the most popular because they're so the one that's most common. But you'll get a lot of you know, advice and ideas from other builders that are building the same kit, I hope. So I hope you join it if you can, and that's it. Be sure, if you got a question, just email me, and we'll get you ready and going on July 1st. I'm looking forward to it. As I'm not going to make an entry video because this will be it, I'm going to build this kit here. So like I said, I know for sure I'm going to cut the doors off, and where it goes from there, I'm not sure. Maybe some aftermarket 3D wheels or something. We'll see how it goes. I don't know if I'm going to put an engine in it because these newer Jeeps have a 3.6 six-cylinder in them. I don't think anybody makes that in 3D. Not that I would have to put an original stock engine in it. I could put some other kind of V8 or something in it. That's a possibility, but we'll see how it goes. All right, everyone. I appreciate you watching, and we'll stay in contact, and I'll see you on the next video.